Last Thursday night's primetime game against the Chargers was an absolute dogfight. So today on Raiders All 22, I'm going to break down the various plays and how the Raiders were able to win a very competitive game. So the Chargers defense really came prepared for the Raiders. They stole a page from the Texans playbook. You guys may remember in my review of the Texans game, I talked about how the Texans linebackers and defensive backs challenged Darren Waller near the line of scrimmage to try to prevent him from picking up yards after the catch. You'll see this here, he's lined up just outside of Colton Miller, and the second Waller breaks his route, you can see that the cornerback comes up and makes the tackle immediately. So here's another play. Waller is again split left from Colton Miller, and he's going to run a similar route, a curl route, so he's going to stop after about 6 yards, and then you can see the defensive back is already coming up here, and he's going to break up the pass. So Waller's lined up, split left from Colton Miller, and this play is going to be a screen pass, but you're going to see the cornerback's just going to sit on Waller's watching the whole time, so even if Waller were able to catch this errant pass, he would have been tackled immediately. So the Chargers were pretty much daring us to throw downfield when it comes to Waller. So in this case here, little pre-snap motion, and so he's going to run a corner route. You can see with Waller's talent, look how wide open he gets for such a big guy, and Carr places a really nicely thrown ball for the 27-yard completion. But for the most part, they kept Waller in check. Alright, so you may be thinking, well, let's keep throwing it downfield, right? But the problem is that the pass protection didn't hold up as well in this game. The Raiders gave up 3 sacks, so we're looking here at Melvin Ingram lined up in the B gap, and he's going to do an inside move there on Gabe Jackson and get the sack on Carr. Ingram really had a huge game. Here he's lined up, 2-point stance, and he's going to face Colton Miller. And he's going to beat Miller around the corner here and sack Carr. So the Raiders gave up 3 sacks. The third one is going to come on a stunt by Mosu. So he is going to come inside, beat Gabe Jackson, and sack Carr. Alright, well you may be thinking, okay, so we can't throw the ball short, that's not working to Waller. The pass rush is pretty intense, so maybe our running game will bail us out. And the Chargers were prepared for this. Look how many, they've got 9 men near the line of scrimmage here. And Bosa's able to hold the edge despite Miller's block. And it's really only an incredible cut by Jacobs that prevents us from being a tackle for loss. Here's another running play. Again, you can see 8 men near the line of scrimmage. And even the cornerback off the edge is waiting for the run, and Richard's got nowhere to go, so this gets stuffed for no gain. This is an interior run play to Washington. And at the snap of the ball, he is going to miss the hole. He could have cut back inside of Richie Incognito, but even if he had made that cut, you can see the hole closes up really quickly. So a lot of times when defenses are doing this, when they're rushing the passer aggressively, when they're playing the run, you've got to try some misdirection. So the Raiders ended up passing the ball quite a bit to the running backs and to Renfrow. So here's a wheel route here out to Jacobs, and he's so good in space, picks up a huge first down. Here's a similar concept. We're going to flare Jacobs out of the backfield. Again, you can see that line of scrimmage is so stacked with defenders, and Jacobs is able to make this defensive back miss by making a hard cut to the outside and then putting his pads down and picking up a lot of yards after contact. This next pass is going to be a check down to Jalen Richard. So Richard, there's a play action there, and he does a great job. So he's raising his hands as Carr's under pressure, and I love this. So Richard's going to do 2 things: find the open spot in the zone, get his arms up so Carr can see him, and then run laterally to make it easy for Carr to get the ball to him. Another really good misdirection play when defenses are attacking the line of scrimmage is the simple screen pass. So DeAndre Washington's going to get the screen. Nice job by Hudson to get out there and block in front of him and Gabe Jackson. And this play is going to go to DeAndre Washington. This is going to be a shovel pass. So this is a really good heads-up play by both Carr and Washington. So you can see there Carr's under pressure, and Washington converts that for a good chunk of yards. So that set up the touchdown play to Alec Ingold. And so I learned from the Raiders subreddit that this play is called Spider 2Y Banana. And so it's a play where it looks like it's going to Jacobs, but he comes up. Jacobs cuts blocks the pass rusher. This creates a really clean throwing lane for Derek Carr, so Ingold can score the touchdown. For the third week in a row, Renfrow was clutch and had big contributions in the passing game. So you can see here, lined up in flanker position on the left side of the offense. And what he's going to do is stop on a curl route, sit down in the zone, and then the moment he gets the ball, he's going to turn it upfield. You see there, makes the first guy miss, picks up a good chunk of yardage. Alright, so if you've been watching this point, you're probably wondering how the heck did we win this game? And it really came down to the pass rush and some good heads-up play by safety Eric Harris. So looking at Farrell here, he had a monster game. Coming off the edge, he's stunting, and he's going to shove aside the left guard with his left arm, and that's going to create a clear path to the quarterback, and then he's going to reach out and long arm with that left arm on Rivers and force Rivers to tuck the ball and eat the sack. So, shove the left guard out of the way, reach out with that long arm, bring Rivers down. So Farrell picked up 2.5 sacks, so this is a second sack, and he's lined up here in the 9 technique, and right here he's going to use his right hand to knock down the left tackle's left hand, and then immediately transition into a rip move. So he's ripping under with that left arm. It enables him to maintain leverage and position against that left tackle, and then he takes Rivers down. And this is how Klee is going to beat guys. He's going to beat guys with great hand technique and with great functional strength. So the third sack for Farrell is coming up. He's lined up again at right defensive end. And off the snap of the ball, he's going to get the left tackle's weight on his outside foot, right? And so he's going to then transition inside since the tackle's off balance, rip underneath with his right arm, and finish the play on Rivers. Klee does a great job transitioning. So you're going to see he use that kind of left arm like a club move, right arm swim, finish the play. So the last 2 games have been Klee's best games by far. And if you guys remember back to the Packers game, I did a 4-minute segment talking about how I thought that the coaches were misusing Farrell by having him play inside so much. And the thing is that, I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. But Hall of Famer Ted Hendricks also said the same thing. He tweeted this after the Chargers game, basically saying we're finally using his skills correctly. So I hope we keep Klee on the edge, don't put him at defensive tackle. He's much better as an edge pass rusher. So the first Eric Harris sack came off a Hankins pressure. So Hankins is lined up here in the B gap. You see he's going to get in Rivers' face. Rivers can't step up into the pass, and that generally results in poor throwing mechanics. And then Harris does a fantastic job here. Nice vision here. I wonder if this guy played running back in high school, but he brings it back for a good chunk of yardage. So speaking of rookie defensive ends, Max Crosby had a monster game. So you're going to see a nice pressure here. He's going to do the side scissors move, so he's throwing his arms from left to right, and that gets him all the way around the tackle, where he's able to break up the pass. It's almost picked off by Klee. Again, side scissors, and that knocks the right tackle off balance. And then you see Crosby here lined up at left defensive end, and his pressure here, right here, he does something really smart. Melvin Gordon's coming up to chip block him, so he's going to go back inside to avoid that chip, and the right tackle actually blocks Crosby, who at this point had beat him, into Rivers. So initially there was a flag thrown because that looked like a low hit, but in reality, since the right tackle was beat, the right tackle was pushing Crosby into the quarterback, so this huge pick six stood. So Maurice Hurst also had a nice game. You're going to see him get a pressure here along with Crosby. So we'll focus on Crosby first. So notice he's going to bend the corner. This is good flexibility on his part. Hurst is on the interior line, losing his balance, but crawls forward, and both guys get to Rivers at about the same time. The contact results in a forced fumble. The Chargers recover the fumble, but lose a huge chunk of yardage. So Benson Mayowa continued his huge breakout year, rushing as usual from the left defensive end position. Right here, he's going to use that long arm. One long arm beats two arms, and once he gets to the tackle's body, he's ripping underneath with that right arm. Brenson Buckner's got these guys playing with some fantastic technique. Credit the coaches, credit the players. They came prepared, and you can definitely see the fruits of their hard work in this particular game. Alright, so our pass rush was simply on fire throughout the game. Our run defense was uncharacteristically poor. Usually we've had really good interior defensive tackle play and pretty good tackling by the back seven. On this play here, Maurice Hurst is going to get double teamed, blown off the line of scrimmage, and then when we rewind this, you'll also see new Raider McLean getting put down on his knee by the left guard, so this opens up a huge hole. We had opportunities to make some pretty clean tackles. Gordon ran really well. He actually hasn't been having a very good year, but he had over 100 yards in this one. And right here, Eric Harris should have him in the hole, but Harris misses the tackle, and then Gordon and the offensive line push that in. So you see some really strong execution. This is going to be a run play to Gordon by the offensive line. So we'll break down the blocks here. So first up, the right tackle blocks down on Maurice Hurst, and then the pulling right guard gets Crosby onto the ground, and their center ends up coming through the hole and then getting a nice kick-out block on Carl Joseph. Opens up a massive lane for Gordon to come through, and then Klee misses the tackle there. Carl Joseph flashed on multiple plays on tape. He did this exact same thing we're about to look at against the Colts. We talked about that in my review of that game, and he's so good when he attacks the line of scrimmage. He'll slip would-be blockers. So right here, the receiver's coming down to block down on Carl Joseph, but he's going to beat him to the punch, make the tackle. And then Joseph times the snap here perfectly for a big tackle for loss. So right at the snap of the ball, you're going to see him knife right through the A-gap and hit Gordon in the backfield. So our defense did a fantastic job, limiting the Chargers from getting too many points, but at some point the offense had to score. So this is the game-winning drive. Richard has an option route here coming out of the backfield. He's going to opt to turn it inside, and he's going to pick up the first down. Here we're going to see Renfrow in the slot, and just like the previous week, Richard and Renfrow came up huge on the game-winning score, and so Renfrow's running a crossing route. He's going to sit down and then immediately turn upfield. I love it as soon as he catches the ball. So this is going to be another option route by Richard, and this time he's going to turn the route to the outside. So you can see right here he's going to break, and the thing when he breaks is it's typically a linebacker covering. He doesn't necessarily know where the running back's going to go. Another first down. So this pass is going to go to Renfrow in the slot, and he has such a good feel for where to sit in zone coverage. So right here, just sit, make it easy for Carr to see him, and he's at the stick. So he broke his route at the proper location and then turns it upfield to pick up extra yards. And then Richard here is going to get the huge chunk of yardage on the check down. So coming out of the backfield, you can see right here, all of the 4 vertical routes downfield are covered, but that means there's a lot of green in the middle of the field. Carr very alertly dumps the ball off to Richard. So this is a 3rd and 1, and you're going to see Jacobs on his touchdown run. We're going to get an excellent block down by Hudson, and then Jacobs has such good burst to the hole, he finishes the play for the touchdown. So unfortunately, our kicker missed the extra point, and so we're in danger of having the Chargers drive downfield and kick a game-winning field goal, and they have all their timeouts. So the pass rush in this sequence of plays was just incredible. So we're going to look at Max Crosby here lined up in 9 technique, and notice he's going to come around here and then redirect inside. So Rivers can no doubt feel the pressure, and this results in the errant throw. Maurice Hurst is lined up here in the A-gap, and you're going to see him get in Rivers' face. He does a great job hustling, right? So fighting, gets in Rivers' face. Rivers can't step into the big downfield throw, and so it's off target. This is inspiring stuff. So we'll see another big play here by Mayowa coming off of the left defensive end position. And so he's going to blow up his blocker, rip underneath with his right arm. And again, for Rivers, he can't really settle and step into any of these throws, right? Another errant pass. Defensive backs did a great job covering downfield on this last drive. So you see Darren Waller playing well off the line of scrimmage, and he's going to pick up the deep outside coverage here. And there's some contact, but he was looking for the ball. No call. I've often talked about how pressures cause quarterbacks to make mistakes. So Max Crosby at right defensive end here. He's going to run a stunt with Klee, and Crosby's going to shove aside the left guard with his left hand, get in Rivers' face so he totally can't step into it, and that results in the game-sealing pick by Carl Joseph. Such a bummer that Joseph's out for the season. He really was playing some great ball, especially since the Indianapolis game and on. So let me know your thoughts on the game. I just can't express how excited I was, especially since our offense didn't carry us. That's what I thought would be needed for us to win this game. Instead, the pass rush was just absolutely clutch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please help me get to 1K subscribers. Look forward to talking to you guys later. Take care.